truck driver pulling a sexy female employer. I doctor during the day, and I am driven as a car at night. Hi everyone, I am Dudu. Today I finally plucked up the courage to tell you about an experience that I don't want to recall in my life. I just want to remind everyone that when you go out, you must protect yourself, especially girls. Some time ago, I had some urgent work and needed to transport a batch of goods to other places. Time was quite tight, so I found a truck driver online. When I contacted him, I heard him talk and felt that he was quite honest and decent. I didn't think much about it, so I made an appointment with him for the time and price and prepared to go with the car to keep an eye on the goods. On the day of departure, I arrived at the loading place early. When I saw the truck driver, my first impression was that he was an ordinary person, dressed quite simply, and didn't look like a bad person. I also greeted him politely and said that I would trouble him on the way. He smiled and agreed, and I didn't think there was anything unusual at the time. After loading the goods, we set off. At first, I sat in the copilot, played with my phone, and occasionally chatted with him. I answered whatever he asked and didn't say much else. But gradually, I felt that the way he looked at me was not right, and he kept glancing at me, and I felt a little uncomfortable in my heart. But I thought maybe I was too suspicious, so I didn't pay much attention to it. At noon, we had lunch at the service area. While leaving, he suddenly said to me, "Sister, it's not easy for you to go out alone. How about I give you a cheaper fare?" When I heard it, I was quite grateful to him, so I said, "Thank you, master." He then said, "But when we get to the place in the evening, you have to accompany me for dinner, just as making friends." At that time, my heart stopped and felt that it was not appropriate, so I declined him, saying that I had other things to do and it was inconvenient. He saw that I refused, and his face was a little unhappy, but he didn't say anything else. After dinner, we continued on the road. Along the way, I was a little nervous. I always felt that there was something malicious in his eyes, but I thought that as long as we reached the destination and unloaded the goods, I could get rid of him. Finally, it was night. We arrived at a very remote place. It was dark around and there was no one. I was scared, and he suddenly stopped the car, turned his head, and his eyes were full of desire that made me sick. "I have given you a discount on the fare, so don't be so unkind, just play with me." When I heard it, I panicked at the time and quickly said, "Master, don't do this. We have agreed before. It's just a simple relationship between employer and driver." But he didn't listen to me at all and directly reached out to pull me. I struggled desperately and shouted for help, but in this wilderness, no one could hear me. He dragged me from the copilot to the back seat. I kept resisting, kicking and hitting, but a weak woman was no match for him. He started to do something to me. I was scared and desperate, and my tears kept flowing. I cried and begged him to let me go, but he was like crazy and didn't care about my life or death. Just when I felt that I was about to be completely violated by him, I suddenly heard the sound of a car passing by outside. I used all my strength to shout for help out of the car window. Perhaps because of my cry for help, the car outside stopped and someone was knocking on the window. The truck driver panicked all of a sudden, quickly let go of me, and tittied his clothes. I took the opportunity to open the door, rushed out, and cried to the people outside about how I was bullied. When those kind people heard it, they were very angry, helped me call the police, and accompanied me to wait for the police to come. After the police came, they controlled the truck driver, and I followed him to the police station and made a record. This whole process, I felt like I had a nightmare. When I think about it now, my heart is still full of fear and anger. I really regret that I was so careless at the beginning and believed him so easily. I thought he was just an ordinary truck driver, but I didn't expect that he was a bad guy with bad intentions. This incident left me with a particularly big psychological shadow. Since then, I have been very careful every time I go out, and I dare not trust strangers easily. I also want to tell all girls through my experience that when you go out, you must be vigilant and don't easily accept the so-called good intentions of others. If you encounter danger, you must shout for help and find ways to seek help. I also hope that everyone can pay more attention to the safety of women so that such bad guys will get the punishment they deserve and don't let more girls get hurt. Later, I learned that this kind of thing is not an isolated case. Many girls have encountered similar dangers when dealing with truck drivers. I really hope that the relevant departments can strengthen the supervision of this industry so that those with bad intentions will not dare to be so arrogant. I also joined some public welfare organizations for women's safety protection and shared my experience with more people, hoping to remind everyone. Every time I see news about girls being hurt because of safety issues, I feel very sad, and I feel that I have the responsibility to tell my story so that everyone can be more vigilant. Now I have also learned some self-defense skills, and I will bring some self-defense gadgets when I go out. I don't want to put myself in that helpless situation again, and I hope that all girls can learn to protect themselves and not be like me, who suffered such terrible things because of momentary negligence. I really hope that such tragedies will become less and less in the future, and every girl can be safe. Well, today's video ends here. Welcome everyone to leave a message to discuss. We will talk again next time. Bye.